Hello and welcome to this video. And I have an absolute living legend, the frontman, songwriter, lead singer of perhaps one of the greatest bands of the last 40 years. And I am not joking. This is no joke. Anybody knows about music. We all know what Fishbone is. Fishbone is like the greatest band of all time. The greatest
Yeah,
band that you may not have ever heard of. But those who
yeah,
know, know.
yeah,
And I have said
yeah,
repeatedly that this man in front of me, Mr. Angelo
yeah.
Moore, is
What's happening,
perhaps
Eddie?
the greatest frontman in music history.
Yes.
I'll give James Brown his due. There's a few others, but this
Oh,
guy's pretty good. I am
wow.
so
That's
honoured to talk to you, Mr. Angelo Moore.
man. Thank you, Eddie. I appreciate it, man.
It's
I
incredible,
appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah,
incredible.
that's real good.
How are
Real good.
you?
Man. Well, I'm here in the studio with Fishbone now, actually, and we're going over all of the tunes that we have selected and manifest for the next release, for the next Fishbone release.
And what's this album going to be called, or can you not tell us that
It's going
yet?
to be called Son of Fishbone, the Stockholm Syndrome Effect.
Because Syndrome changed a lot last year, didn't it?
You say syndrome changed a lot last year, huh? Yeah, well, it's a new one now. See, so this is the studio that I'm in.
Oh, it's incredible. This is the most exciting interview I've done in terms of the background.
Yeah, I just like to keep it creativity flowing.
Yeah, I
Look at
love it.
that,
I love
man.
it.
That's nice, right?
It is. It's beautiful.
And then they're in there listening to the tunes, you know.
Oh, wow. This is exclusive stuff. I cannot believe it.
Yeah, man. Trying to bring it to you right.
So,
Okay, so what you want to know, man? What you want to know?
should we go right back to the beginning? Because it's an astonishing fact, as you don't look a day over 25, that Fishbone has been in operation for this is like the 36th year, isn't it, of Fishbone? You were formed back in the 1970s.
Yeah,
Incredible.
crazy as hell. Well, I try to keep my inner child prevalent and present, you know.
Is that how you stay looking so young?
Well, if that is the case, then the music is what makes it happen. If that's what's going on,
It doesn't work for
the
me,
music,
Angelo.
the music. Yeah.
I'm 3 years younger than you.
Well, but you got a beard and a mustache. See, I ain't got none of that.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? I don't know whether, but when I shave it off, I don't like my face so much when I shave it off.
But that's the real you. No cover-ups right there.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. I'll shave it all off. It's the truth is, I really haven't shaved it over Christmas because I've just been lying in bed doing nothing. Been
Oh, damn.
nothing, about a week, nothing at all. Lying in bed. You're working hard
And
there. I've been working very hard this year. I tell you, a lot of you. I do a YouTube video every single day, and
damn,
it's
no
I
shit
really
for
have been
real.
working. So I just went to bed. I tell you, just went to bed. Didn't
Well, look,
shave.
man, you know what though? This YouTube thing right here that we're doing is going to inspire me to do more YouTube because I was doing a lot of it. I was doing the majority of my posting during the pandemic. That's when I did the majority of my posting. I had an online show called The Mirror of What. I was streaming my little shows and stuff, man. I recorded I made a couple of songs during that time and some videos too.
You've got it. You've got to do it. It's where
Got,
it's at. It's
I
where
got
it's at.
sober. I got sober during that period. Shit.
What through the lockdown?
Yeah.
That's what happened. You either got sober or you got worse, didn't you?
Or you got worse, way worse. You got either got real good or real bad.
Yeah. So we're having a proper chat here, like two gentlemen have met for the first time. But
Right, right.
your Fishbone. There's a whole bunch of questions that I've got, right? Because
You said there's a whole bunch of
there's a whole
questions that
bunch of
I've
questions. I got a
got.
whole bunch of questions, like a
Oh
whole
my
bunch.
fucking
So
God. Okay.
I can
Okay.
remember
Lay it on me, man.
late 80s. I discovered a whole bunch of bands. Red Hot Chili Peppers first, 27 Spies, whatever they were called. Whole bunch of bands. Start to go through them. And eventually I pick up, I think I got a 12-inch of Fishbone. And I put this on. I could not believe it. I could not believe what I was hearing. This was so incredible. And I'm sure you've been told this so many times before. Became a huge fan. I saw you live twice. And when I saw it, it was just mind blowing. And it wasn't just the virtuosity of the band, it was the performance, it was the quality of the songwriting, and it was the fact that you guys were jumping around. And then this is where I just explain the love I've got. Suddenly just playing all this brass section, and I could hear, unlike many of the other bands that had come up in Los Angeles in that scene, I could hear the whole history of American black music right back to New Orleans, even further back to that. I could hear the lot all in it. It's really
All
incredible.
in there, right?
It's
All in
all in
there.
there, yeah. And the way you were performing, I could see aspects of vaudeville and also whole American history of performance, black American performance. All that was in there. And so you think, well, these guys must have been put together because they're like virtuos. Normally when you see that, that's a band that's been put together. Then I found out you
Uh-huh.
guys were all at school. So how did it
You're
happen? How? I mean,
right.
I'm a drummer. Your original drummer, Fish. My God, what a drummer! And then you're like the
How-
greatest frontman. I'm not just anyone. If you have not seen this guy perform live, there's nobody like this. Is insane. I saw you twice. It was insane.
Hey man, we
This is what
we
the
just did
interviews
a
are
whole
like, Angelo. This is what they're like. I just gush. I just meet my heroes and gush.
man, we just did a whole tour.
You can't do all that jumping around now, though,
We
can
did a
you?
whole no, I can't do all that shit now. I gotta be careful and I gotta be careful and I really gotta mean it. Because it's gotta be so it all has to be driven by the music, art, and the Holy Ghost, man. When I'm doing that, I think I crowd surfed maybe just a couple of times on this last one, man.
In that film that
Yeah.
they made, the 2010 film, incredible documentary that really just nails it.
Oh,
And you got everybody in the music business saying, "This is the band, this is the band." And at one point there, you crowd surf, and then you climb up the back of this auditorium onto
side of
like
this.
the
Yeah, that was in
balcony,
San
and then you
Francisco.
just you just leap. It's,
Yep, had to climb
what's
up
going
there. Had to
on?
make sure that the people engaged in the balcony. Had to make sure that they engaged, right? And then you go ahead and go on back. And the
Are
only
you
way back was
frightened at
down
those
off of that
moments?
balcony.
Are you frightened, or is this that you're in the music so much that
Well, I was just in the music, man. That's what it was. It's the spell that the music creates, the frenzy and the spell of it, man. You
so
know, you let
so
let the music take you. That's what I like to
so when
experience about the
when you
music,
guys
you know.
got together 79, what were you
Hmm.
listening to, and what did you form a band, and what did you want to do?
So, man, we were just listening to Funkadelic, Rick James, Sly Stone, James Brown. Um, what else? Led Zeppelin. I will choose free will. What you say about his company? What you say about his own? Who is that? Who the fuck is that?
That's
Sticks?
Rush.
That's Rush. It was listening to a lot of Rush. Van Halen. What did I say? James Brown, Funkadelic, Sly Stone, Confunction, the Bad Brains, the
So
Germs,
79, I tell you what we were
Sex
hearing.
Pistols,
Well, tell you what we were into here in the UK.
specials, Bad
Specials,
Manners,
Selector, Bad
and
Manners.
Bad
Now,
Man. Yeah,
how you guys were into that as well, weren't you?
yep.
Were you
But
listening to that back then, or that?
that came a little later. That probably came around like the mid eight, like the 80s, because before all the 80s, before the early 80s, we was just all listening to funk and stuff, funk and rock. And then I remember ska, Dirty Walt was playing some ska on his blaster. He had his radio with him on the bus and he was playing the selector, you know, and we was still in high school back then.
Well, the I where I live in the UK is literally where that started. Um, I know a guy called John Mostyn, and he set up the Two Tone label, and he signed Selector, and
That's the first ska that we That's the first kind of ska that we had discovered was the British ska.
Because
Hold on.
there's a punk vibe to it, isn't there? There's a punkiness to it.
Hey, Katie, let me call you back. I'm in the middle of an interview.
Okay, all right. Bye bye.
Okay.
Who was that,
Yep.
Angelo?
That was my aunt Katie.
So my mom always calls me up in these interviews.
Right in the times when you're in deep on something.
Yeah, I just
What's the
incorporate
remember
her in
that?
now. Bring the
You
mothers
know
in.
that?
That's what I say.
Yeah, bring mom in, bring
Yeah,
auntie and mom and uncle
yeah,
on in. Fucking come on in, y'all. Shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I used to when I first started playing, I was gigging around Birmingham. I'd get gigs with Saxa from the Beat. Were you ever into the Beat?
Oh, Saxa, yeah, from the English beat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those guys are all local to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really
We
weird.
toured with them guys, man. We toured with them. We got a chance to tour with those guys for a while, man. That's really good.
So once you'd formed
Yeah.
the band, what happened then? Because you know, it was you formed in '79, and I think your first album's coming around about '86. So there's a was that like is
It
that where
came
you
out,
got
yeah,
so
probably
good?
like I feel like it came out like 83 or something like that, the
Really?
first one. Yep. And we were just shit, man, fresh out of high school, it felt like, and we were playing all these clubs around LA.
And
We
who
were
else was
playing
around there at
rock.
that time?
Um, the Chili Peppers, no doubt, Jane's Addiction, The Loneliest Monster, the Minutemen, a lot of the LA hardcore scene, the Circle Jerks. Yeah, the Bad Brains.
Yeah, the
Yeah, it
second
was a
time I
lot.
saw you was with Bad Brains.
Agent Orange, No Effects. That whole scene was happening. The Dead Kennedys.
I
Yeah.
wonder when you jumped onto that scene, even though you had all these funk and soul, jazz influences, New Orleans jazz influences, ska influences, being a black band on the scene, was that seen as something um like what are they playing this? Because how
Out of
rocky
it,
were you?
did it seem a little out of place?
Yeah, yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Yeah, sometimes we would experience that, but that's when you just don't give a shit. You
the
just
first
go ahead and play, and I just remember my whole attitude was fuck you if you don't like it, motherfucker. Hell, you ain't gotta be your ass here. And they'd end up staying anyway because
because
we would be insistent on what we were doing at the time. That's how we went about our music.
and
You know,
how did the rock influences
the
creep
band
in?
before that, the name of the band before it was Fishbone was Megatron, and Megatron was a heavy metal name. We just like the name Megatron, so we be getting booked at these heavy metal gigs, and people would be wondering, well, who the fuck, how, what are we supposed to do with this? We're like, well, here it is, motherfucker. But then, we's like, well, our manager was like, well, if you want to get booked at some venues with a little wider variety of genre, then you might want to think about changing your name.
The whole
So
the
that's when we
whole
called
thing's
it
mad.
Fishbone.
The whole
Yeah.
thing is just so strange, and the
And
because the thing is, like I said, I'm a lot of people have said to me, when I've introduced them to the band, they go, "God, this band's amazing. Why aren't they like the biggest band in the world? Why aren't they well known?" And I say it's because they have no boundaries. It's because the industry couldn't box them in. They couldn't find a place to put them in every way. And I felt part of it is the race thing. I can remember seeing Living Colour for the first time. I didn't even know who they were. They were supporting Anthrax back in the late '80s, and the audience didn't
mm-hmm.
know what to do. They literally did not know what to do with these black
Yeah.
guys on stage, especially when they started playing the funk. It was beyond racism. It was almost like
Yeah.
they just couldn't align themselves with what the way this world was working.
The
It was
way
like,
the way society wants shit to be perceived, right?
yeah,
Because the
exactly
music,
that.
when the music takes over, it's like a shape-shifting thing. I was telling somebody earlier, man, that music, the waves of music shape shifts the body because the body is made majority of water, right? And so are these frequencies, bass frequencies, bass, mid, highs, all the frequencies that we make when we play music and make music, when they're put through the speakers, we shapeshift people to make them dance, do things we want them to do with the music. You know, that's
Oh
what
yeah.
happens. You ever think about when you put a pan of water on top of the bass speaker and it's making all these shapes in the water? That's what happens to us when we have a band playing to us and when we making music and we put that shit on a record, man. So we're making people change their molecular structure with our music. And that was the answer right there.
That's very profound. I've never thought of it like that before. But what it makes you realize is that we are substance, aren't we? We are a substance in the world, and
Yeah.
most of it we don't really understand, do we?
And so what I was getting to, I kind of forgot what I was talking about. What I was getting to is it makes them forget about the fact that you are a different color when the music actually takes over, right? So what a person battles with is what society has taught them is that this color of person really isn't supposed to be playing this type of music. They're in their wrong element. But when the music is really good and it takes over, it kind of makes you forget about all that for a minute and enjoy the music. And then once you get back outside away from the music, well, you're probably back to your same self again. I remember playing in Orlando, Florida, and they had a heavy skinhead population out there. So we'd be playing at the Cameo Theater, and the skinheads were going, "Oh, fuck those niggas," or whatever. But then they pay to get inside the show and have the best time in the world. And they say, "Oh, the Fishbone, they not them niggas. They just playing good music."
Because you're spreading love. You're
Because we
spreading love
spreading
to
love.
everybody,
And then
regardless.
what? And then once they get out, once the show is over and they get outside the venue, then they talking the same shit they was before they came in. Oh God,
But for that
crazy man.
moment, for that moment in time, I could see. I know. I could see what you're saying. I can see what you're saying. There's so much. Oh, it's as though everything's getting worse. I
Hey
find it
man,
quite
we got
sad.
a Fishbone's new latest single. It's called. Have you checked out the single?
Is this the anti-Trump one?
Racist piece of shit. So anybody who want to come and tell Fishbone they racist, I always tell them, thanks for promoting the single, you racist piece of shit.
So have you been accused of being racist then? Has the band been
Yep,
accused?
somebody just recently said, Angelo, you're just racist against white people. When you say fuck racism, you're just racist against a certain kind of people or some shit this dude was saying. Like, hey man, it was so silly I can't even fucking remember. But it's like,
So they've
come
said
on,
you're
man.
racist against white people.
Yeah, because of the fact that I'm not down with Trump. He must be a Trump supporter. See, man, it's funny. He's one of those people that don't listen to the lyrics. They digging the music, but they ain't really cueing in on the lyrics and what we're saying. And later on, they're like, "Oh, is that what Fishbone was talking about?"
Well, for me, when I got your albums, that was an education for me, especially being here in the UK, which is a different culture altogether. Your albums, Public Enemy to some extent, and haven't got a clue over here in the UK what it's like there. Um, and the fact, this is a hard one to get to. And before the interview started, I thought I wonder if we're going to go down this because I know the politics are there. See, I've been accused of being a racist as well on my channel. And
Mm-hmm.
it's when I start to go towards an idea that we're all together we're just one lot of people and that this one lot of music and I don't like boundaries and I don't like this being called this and this and this.
Mm-hmm.
And I've discussed deeply, and I'm sure we differ on this, and we're right to the heavy stuff now, but I have argued that I'm not so keen on this idea of black music, that there's a category called black music. Now, as you noticed when we started,
Black music.
I said I use the category because I do use the category, and I think in the spirit and the essence, I can tell it. Yeah, everyone knows what black music is, but the idea of ownership and the idea that this music isn't free, and that only people can express themselves within it. Your music for me that reached me. If you think about it, I'm here in the UK. 30 years ago, I hear your band, and it reached me and it spoke to me because it goes beyond this. Just like you said with the Skinheads, for that moment, the music reached. Now, I'm a massive jazz fan, and I've studied the history of jazz
For
in
that one
depth.
moment that skinheads had lost all oi.
So,
Oh
but
shit.
how much do you think that played a part in the sort of Fishbone story?
What you mean?
All these
What?
sort of these prejudices and divisions and boundaries and all this idea of the record company trying to put you into a certain place and the
Well, it definitely happened. That's for sure. And I definitely wrote about it. When I see it all going by, I look at it as well. Okay, unfortunately, this is the kind of stupid shit that's a part of my country that I live in and my culture. So you can't just let it stop you from being creative.
no.
So what I did was I wrote it down. I'm like, oh, look at that stupid shit over there. Oh, that's so ridiculous. I'm moved to write it down. Hell, I was moved to write a, probably a song about Trump. I wrote this song called the Pendulum Swings. From Halos to Nooses. That's one of my brand new step. I got a project called A Brand New Step, and I wrote this song called The Pendulum Swings from Halos to Nooses. There's a video on YouTube about it. But it's like, to me, Trump is one of the worst things that can happen in America. Yet he is highly entertaining. He is highly entertaining. And so, as an entertainer, I'm one of his biggest fans because he's like the Joker, man. He's like nonstop over the top. He just don't need to be president because he's gonna fuck shit up unless
But,
something fucks him up first.
but
But
it's like
out of him as a muse, because I'm an artist, and that's what I do. I turn lemons into lemonade as an artist, and I used him as a muse to write my lyrics and so I can put it in the song and let the world know how I feel about it. And it's bad and it's toxic and it's horrible, yet it's entertaining. And I have my solutions to the answers, and that's all I can do, man. If I have a solution to the problem, a solutionary thing, a solution I want to put out there, I'm gonna put it out there through a song, and hopefully it'll help the world, man. And hopefully God's behind me in this shit. That's all you can. That's all you can do and say. The world, the government, they're gonna do what the fuck they gonna do. It's always been fucked up. Trump being in there, well, it's gonna continue to be fucked up. So when I think about how it's been in my life as a Black American and how it's getting ready to be, ain't nothing really changed.
no, that is exactly it. Nothing's changed.
It's like it's gonna be time for another alternative government or underground railroad type of thing
Exactly.
to happen.
Yeah, that is exactly
Because
how I
them
feel. I
because
just because who would you
yeah,
have? It's like who would you have
yo,
in that place?
I voted for Kamala. I'm like, look, a woman need to be in the spot. It's about time. Shit, women end up living longer than men and they multiply. They make babies. That tell you something right there. It's a man dominated society. It's been that way since the beginning. The motherfucker's got his face on the dollar bill everywhere you look. Goddamn, motherfucker, that's some greedy shit. Let a woman have a chance. Our mothers, I mean, our fathers too, because I'm a dad, but our mothers were the best thing that happened to us, man. We came out of them in the end. We came from daddy's nuts and on through mom and on out into the world. You know.
But don't you feel that as much as Trump's part of an establishment elite, so is Kamala, so is Biden. So
Yeah,
I just
but
see it. There's
Trump is disconnected. Trump is disconnected from street people. And without street people They're the ones that build the houses and build the skyscrapers and all that shit for them motherfuckers to be in. You know? They ain't never walked the streets of Skid Row or the Tenderloin or fucking whatever the fuck that street is over there where all the crack motherfuckers be hanging out. If anything, Kamala's been closer than that than he has. He just give a fuck about millionaires. That motherfucker's the devil. And America voted for him. And it happened on my birthday during my art gallery. Oh shit.
I don't. I find the whole thing really disturbing. The similar stuff going on here, and I think you've said the right thing there. That it's got to do with normal people.
Right, except for the last note.
Oh, Chris is playing right now.
That's right.
He's playing right now. Okay. Hold on. I need to get a.
That's it right there. Yeah. Let me take it from the top. Yep.
For those of you watching, this is very exciting because I didn't expect this. I just thought we'd have an interview, but we're actually right in the makings of the new Fishbone album. Incredible. Incredible. I'm doing a narration, you see.
Wait, let me see if I can find a plug so I can plug up around here. Oh, right there. Okay, thank you, man. Okay, Andy. So yeah, man. There's the Fishbone record, but then I got my solo projects, man. I got the brand new step. I'm getting ready to release a record from the brand new step, man. That's my electronic dance, dance music project. And it's really good, man. It's like some real good dance music, dude. We got videos on YouTube.
I'll get all these linked in on the video. All these things are everything you mentioned. I'll put as a link into the bio.
Dr. Mad Vibe and the Missing Links. I got the double album. I got that shit. I got a book. I got 3, maybe 4 books, man. I got 2 coffee table books. My new one is called The Olegna Phenomenon. And it's a coffee table book, and I'm doing short stories, and I put an audio book together where I'm narrating, and I'm doing the soundscape, underneath my narration, you know. And then I got this other coffee table book. It's called Ska Do, Ska Don't, and that's like a lot of music, like a Japanese project I did. And I got music that goes with the books. They're in like a like a thumb drive, credit card thumb drive. You flip it up, put it in the computer, and you drag all the information on your shit, and you listen to it as you're reading, reading the dialogue and looking at the art. And then I got some shampoo, shea butter, and soap products I got at the merch table too. Dr. Mad Vibes Underground Contraband Railroad.
And what do you use the shampoo for?
Well, I don't use it. As you can see.
Yeah. I miss the mohawk.
Yeah, oh yeah, like that. That's why I got a little tattoo. I got the tat right there.
That is, oh my God, that's incredible.
You know, the tattoo tombstone, man.
So what do you feel about the contemporary music scene now that you're operating in compared to what you came up with? Because for me, it seems to have got worse. You're telling me that you're like you're basically an artist. You're a musician, play saxophone, you sing, you write songs, you also do art, you do write. I
got an art gallery called Avant Presidents.
I've been looking at it. It's incredible.
You've been checking it out.
Yeah,
You've been checking that shit out.
I was a painter to start off with. I did my degree in art, and then I moved over to music. So I know what it's like to want to get up in the morning and to express yourself anyway. And I think everybody should do this. It's the healthiest thing. Everyone should express themselves. Don't judge what you're doing. You know,
That's right. Do the shit, or because you got to look at some of these stupid motherfuckers with guns running and shooting people up in the church and the school and the restaurant and all this other crazy and running people over in New Orleans. I heard about this shit the other day, or
bad. It's bad.
just like what in the fuck, man? This what kind of surreal, crazy monster shit is that? Then the guy shot the dude. He shot the guy, the CEO, in the back because he wouldn't give him some shit he needed for his operation. Is that what it was?
Mm.
Man, man, that's a hard one, dude. Because should nobody be killing anybody anyway?
That's
But
exactly.
that,
This is the thing. This
but
is
but
the,
that motherfucker was fed up.
yeah,
He
yeah.
was fed up. What was it like? What do you mean you're not going to give me the anesthesia for me so I won't have to feel the pain while they operating on me because my insurance won't cover it? What? And I was watching this other thing on the news. This German, I can't remember his fucking name, a hard name, Dr. Blurkenstoff or some shit, or Birthright, I can't remember, but this motherfucker's got the cure for cancer. And he was giving this treatment to people and they was getting they cancer and they tumor shrank and he's curing motherfuckers. And
That's the last thing they want.
The FDA was like, oh no,
Yeah.
we gonna make up every silly ass reason to stop your ass. And they couldn't. And after a while, I couldn't even find out what happened with him because I had to leave the house.
But no, but the thing is that 30 years ago, when things in a way should be worse, musicians, painters, poets, filmmakers, they could actually, because I believe art is the place where we challenge this stuff. Because if you don't challenge it in art, you do end up getting people driving their cars into people. That's no way to do
Right,
it.
exactly.
It
Yeah, that's the overload. I'm like, I can't take it anymore.
yeah,
And I'm like, look, motherfucker, I always tell somebody, look, learn how to play an instrument, write down your poetry, okay, and draw some shit on some paper, motherfucker. You know, you that's what you want to do. You want to let it come in. You don't want to be one of them people that don't know how to express themselves. Next thing you know, your head's blowing off or you're shitting all over the place. You
it's
know?
totally right. And yeah, and the hardest thing with doing art, I did with the YouTube channel, was learning to let go and not judge and just let it be. Let everything be whatever it
I
is and
know.
not worry.
I tell you, man, I had to go through a lot of therapy to get to that place.
Gotta let it go. Don't
Therapy,
judge.
AA, oh, don't judge. Yeah, resentments. I try to operate on unconditional love, toleration, forgiveness, patience, strength, and grace, and sometimes numb.
But when I don't see, listening to your music scene, having the videos for so long, you always seem to be completely comfortable with yourself. You just seem to be expressing yourself without judgment, something that I would find very difficult to do. So, for example, the other day I realized that one thing I never done on my YouTube channel was dance. So I got some Narada Michael Walden, who's my idol, Narada Michael Walden, and I put some of that funk on, and I did a dance,
They did a
filmed
little
it, and I put
dance.
it up on YouTube because I knew that my dancing, I'm embarrassed by it. I'm
Yeah.
not. You know what I'm saying? But I look at you. You express something in what you do in every bit of it. And
But you a drummer. You a drummer.
that's why I'm a
So
drummer. I
a
can't dance.
drummers create the dance.
But try.
Anytime you hear some drums playing, man, you always, whatever kind of beat it is, you start moving to it, you start dancing with it. So yeah, for you to get up and dance like that and people knowing you're a drummer, it all makes sense, man.
There's a
You know?
I when I was playing in proper bands, you go out, everyone loves the music, they're listening to it, they're enjoying it. But I also used to play like covers bands, and you'd turn up at some venue, and they don't care about you, what you do at all, but they're dancing. And I used to look at a dancer and I used to try and get them to dance so hard by focusing in on that dancer and going, "I'm going to make you dance." Really gonna make you dance, I used to do that, and you can't. You know what I mean.
It's like if I stare at you hard enough while I'm playing, you're gonna do it.
I always find if you go like
Oh,
bomb to get bomb to get, and then if you went like that chicka bomb to chicka bomb to get bomb to
right.
get bomb to get that beat there, oh to
Yeah,
get on, that
yeah.
used to get them, and then the rest of the band are going, "What are you doing?" It's the
Then
Whitney Houston song.
they turn around and look at you. Then, ooh, see, you know what? That reminds me. Hold on.
Yeah,
Let
we're
me
playing
get
Bruce
this.
Springsteen, Andy.
Oh shit! Wait, let me get this thing, man. You got to hear this. Oh man, this is back.
Angelo, we won't be able to hear it because you've got the Zoom background noise suppression on, so we can't hear it. I really want to hear it.
Well, man, can you
Was
hear me now?
yeah.
You
You
can
have to
hear
sing.
me?
Yeah, you're gonna have to sing it to us. We couldn't hear it.
We set up professional audio. You can hear me now, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's the back. It's the music in the background.
So when you was doing your beats, when you was doing that, I was thinking, I'm like, that sounds like this.
You can't hear it. You can't hear it.
Oh
You
no,
can't.
you can't hear me?
You can't hear it now. Could you hear my drum beats?
Yeah. Right, right, right.
I can't hear you, Angelo, but I can't believe I'm jamming with you. I cannot believe it. I wish I could hear it. I can't hear it.
Oh man, don't wait. So you couldn't hear any of
You
that.
can't hear it because it's stupid Zoom. It's got this setting the way if there's any background noise, it just I don't know how it does it. It just gets rid of it. If you can go in and do something with it, but you'd have to do it your end. I can
It
hear
says
just the very bit of it.
it says set up professional audio in audio
Yeah,
settings.
it's too hard. Too hard. Tell us about that harp. Tell us about that harp.
Okay, this harp.
Yeah, because that there, it's the Jaws harp, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the jaw harp.
Every now and then we
Oh
get a
man.
little bit of it.
Wow. That's a trip. I could even see as I look on here, as I look on this window, I'm in the settings window right now, and when I
Yeah,
look on it as I talk, I see that the light is activating. But then when
yeah.
I play this,
No,
I
I
don't
can't
see
hear it.
nothing. Wow, that's crazy.
But there's some history there with
Oh,
that instrument.
yeah, man. This is like is in Italian is called a scaccia pensieri. And I do a lot of my beats on here, man.
Oh, I wish I could hear it.
I got some of this stuff on the new Fishbone and the Fishbone tunes that we got. Still nothing, huh?
No.
Wow, man. Okay, well,
Before we get on to what you're doing now, there's one more thing I want to ask you about
okay.
in your because there's so much I wanted to talk to you, and we've gone all over the place, but it's I've loved it and I've enjoyed it, and it's been incredible to be in the studio, seeing what's happening and feeling and being a part of that. Fishbone did a session with Little Richard, Lead Belly. It made me when I saw that harp, it made me think of Lead Belly. Lead Belly back in
Uh,
1885 when the
oh,
when
when you
the
saw this?
yeah. I was reading about the Lead Belly the other day about how some of the spasm bands from New Orleans went up to Shreveport or somewhere where he lived, and he saw the spasm bands and this idea of making your own instruments or using certain sounds and all these things that have been incorporated.
Right.
That came to the UK through people like Lonnie Donegan. You got the skiffle movement. That goes right back to
Yeah, the
that.
skiffle movement, right? The skiffle
Yeah,
movement was like the first punk rock
yeah. First punk rock,
beats.
and the hit that he had was Rock Island Line, and of course Fishbone did that.
Oh,
Were you at those sessions when they did that with Little
I
Richard?
wasn't there.
You wasn't there.
No,
So
I
the only
wasn't
time they
there.
replaced you was with Little Richard.
Yep, that was the only time.
That's not a bad
And I and
replacement,
I and I think it was just Fish that was there.
really.
Maybe Fish and Norwood were on that session, but I
Yeah.
wasn't there though.
Oh, because I wondered if you had any Little Richard stories because they're always good.
Yeah, no, but I saw his documentary, man. The documentary they put together of Little Richard was badass, dude.
No one can touch him.
Yeah, yeah, he's one of the main reasons why,
Yeah.
you know.
So tell us what you're up to now. What's going on now? So tell us about this big change with the band because obviously you've had like 30 years of fluctuations in lineups and all sorts. It's a big band, isn't it? And but it's sort of been settling and settling. And then last year, what happened? Tell us all about it. Go on.
God damn.
Did
Well,
you sack everybody? Did it stop being a democracy?
okay.
It's that Trump influence, isn't it? You got all
Uh,
totalitarian.
yeah,
I
can't
can
you
tell by
tell
the
by
beret.
my Jokerish attire and flamboyant colors? Well, so here's what happened, man. Norwood wanted to run it himself, and I wanted to run it as a partnership. And after a while, I said, I don't want to run this in from the back seat. I want to run this shit with you in the front. We supposed to be partners. Hell, we the original members of the band. Norwood didn't want to do that, and so I had to stop.
And
And
so, did he
Norwood's
give
and Nor
reasons
so
why he wanted to
Norwood
become?
because he wanted to be in control of everything.
Well, like Benito Mussolini, that sort of in control.
Yeah.
Why?
Hey,
Why?
I love Norwood, man, but you know that road,
Well, the thing is with
that
artists,
road,
they don't do it
that
out of being a totalitarian. They do it out of, I think, thinking that it's an insecurity, perhaps. I don't know. Thinking
you
that
know,
they,
and so I tried. I took the band to therapy. You know, I got sober. I stopped drinking. I stopped drinking since 2020 and had a drink since then. Any kind of decision I make or have a part in, saving myself, I need to be on a sober head. So I've been in the AA program 15, 20 years now. You know, in and out of therapy. It's good for me, man, you know. Counseling. Make sure whatever kind of decision I'm making, it ain't based on some sloppy shit.
well, I tell you, I stopped drinking 2009, and all that was because I was in bands and I was on tour, and I didn't even realize I was drinking a lot because everybody was. I was drinking a lot, like first thing in the morning, you know, and I, and I stopped
Damn.
2000. I stopped 2009, and I got to be honest. For me, anyway, after a certain time, there's no way you're going to go back because I couldn't be. But I think you have to have the counselling as well to get your head into a place where you really don't want to be in that place. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
hmm You don't want to
And
be.
do you think that's behind the change in the band? Were you thought right? You know, this has to be done a certain way, and it should be a democracy. And is that
Yeah,
really?
democracy, man. That's what I'm.
So can you tell us about the new band? Because
That's what I was insisting on. You know, democracy and not a dictatorship. You know,
so Eric is it Eric Malmsteen? Malmsteen? Who's the guy that set up this
Eric.
interview? Eric
Yep,
Malmsteen.
Eric Malmstrom. Yeah, Eric Malmstrom, man. He was on the Fishbone crew for quite a while, for quite a lot, quite a few journeys, man. You
So,
know.
I'm just going to thank Eric for sorting this interview out because it's a
Thanks,
real
Eric.
big, and Eric watches the channel and he knows that I mention Fishbone quite regularly, and he got in touch and he said this new lineup you've got to see, Andy, because he knows what I like and I haven't heard it. So, can you tell us about the new lineup and what you planned for 2025?
Hassan Chop is on drums, Mark on bass, um, Spacey T's on guitar, Chris Dowd on keys and trombone, JS on trumpet. Yeah,
So, in terms of original members, it's you and Chris, isn't it?
yeah,
That's good.
yeah.
That's it.
We got tours coming up, man. We probably coming to Europe in maybe August.
August, and you're going to come to the UK.
I'm hoping so.
Can I come and see you and hook up?
Hopefully ain't no crazy shit to get in the way.
Uh,
Hopefully Trump don't put so many tariffs on shit we can't even buy a goddamn plane ticket to get over there. Kind of shit to have to worry about, you know. That's what I be
the
thinking
only
in
way you're
life.
going to be able to leave that country is by being illegal.
I know, right?
Just gonna have to say.
Hey, I'm illegal. Yeah, it don't look like I belong here, right? Shit.
Angelo, it's been a really good interview. I think we've covered enough here. I think it's so much you've covered. I've got a lot to ask you about the band, but I like the way it's gone, and I like all the politics because that's what I used to get from Fishbone. I love
Hey
that
man,
heart and I just love conviction. I love
it, well, it's a lot of it still going on. You know, it's been ever since probably like the last 10 years, man. It's been a lot of creativity and musical projects going on in my life. I was doing the Bowie project,
yeah.
doing the Bowie celebration of that, and Dr. Mavop and the Missing Links. We had actually a couple of tours, man. You know, I got a double album out with them with the Missing Links on it, and there's some live performances out there on YouTube. And then there's the brand new step, and we got a new album coming out now. It's a new album, and I'm on the front of it when I was 4 years old. That's the
The,
cover.
the thing
It's a good
is,
one.
I tell you what counts, that what I've learned because I went through a whole bunch of stuff over the last couple of years, and the YouTube channel it saved me because I was going down. I couldn't tour. I wasn't doing any gigs. The teaching I was doing was going down. And a very strange thing happened to me is that I'm a real Narada Michael Walden fan. He's like my sort of, I've followed him for years. And he saw one of my videos and he got in touch and he rang me up. And he said to me, he said, "You don't need to worry, Andy, because God's God favors you at the moment and you're going to be okay." And he was right.
And
He was right. And I was atheist. And he was right.
he was
And it blew my
right.
mind. And now Nada's my friend, and we chat, and I cannot believe it because, and this channel is really showing me that. Now, the reason I say this to you is because,
Yeah,
again, 30 years ago, I got into your band. I've spent the whole of my life going, have you ever heard Fishbone? Who's Fishbone? They're like the greatest band of all time. I've said that to
yeah,
everybody for years and years. I've said this. That love, I'm so happy to send back to you now.
yeah.
But
I
I
appreciate it. That's
believe
great.
that we are now entering into an age where that love that you don't need a big audience that sort of that are okay with you, which is what the old music industry was
Yeah,
like.
right.
It's about grabbing the love of us.
Yeah,
And I think
the,
if you can grab that, you'll all go to you'll drop down, and that's all we can wish for. And I know
yeah,
that's going to happen, and I wish that
yeah.
just
That's
to get
right. At
bigger
some,
and bigger.
yeah,
And I know
yep.
my fan base here that watches my YouTube, only little YouTube, but they're serious. They know their music and they will
You know their
know.
music, huh?
They will know. So I'm saying to you all now, check the links in the below. get in touch,
Yeah.
make your contacts with this band. There's stuff
Yeah.
happening, brand new band. Angelo's on fire.
Yeah.
He's come my
I got.
way. We've hooked up. This love is going around, and I tell you,
Yeah.
get involved in it and support them because
Yeah.
Fishbone is still. It's the age
That's
of
right.
Fishbone. It's gonna
That's right. We
happen.
still here. Yo, it's coming out. It's coming out in a couple of months, man. And we got stuff on Spotify and shit like that, and Amazon already. So we got and I got we got new stuff out there, man. I know Chris has a new release. Chris Stout has a new release, The Ultra Infidels. He just re-released that on wax and vinyl and stuff like that.
You are the guys.
That's,
I'm so glad I've
yeah.
been able to say, especially to you, Angelo, because I'm so glad I've been able to say Red Hot Chili Peppers, all those bands, 24/7 Spot, all of them. Yeah, 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 yeah. You're the daddies. You're the boss. You're the dons. Everybody knows it.
The
Everybody knows
Dons.
it. I, I can remember go. I went to the Hummingbird
uh,
in Birmingham, and
uh,
you were playing. I needed the toilet. I walked upstairs, couldn't find the toilet, went into your dressing room, and you all were
uh,
sat there really grumpy because I
uh,
looking at me, all grumpy.
ah,
You all grumpy. I thought they look a bit grumpy, so I went back
uh,
downstairs. You came on stage. It
uh,
was mind blowing. It was just like
uh,
the Mahavishnu Orchestra meets Parliament Funkadelic meets selected it, and you were surfing on the instruments and I just it was just mind blowing I mean 30 years later I'm telling you it now. What does that mean?
damn.
What does that
Well,
mean?
man, I guess that mean it worked.
It
It's
works.
then
Now
it can still work.
the
Exactly.
second time I saw you, it was completely different. It was in Wolverhampton, and it was when your guitarist had gone missing in, that period. We'd all
Oh,
would tried, yeah. And you came on. It was an incredible show,
oh,
but it was
Kendall,
almost you were
yeah.
on with Bad Brains. It was almost like avant-garde free jazz. It was the chaos that was. It's like you could tell the band
What
was in chaos,
and
and
what
that's
show
what
was this?
that was must have been after Give a Monkey a Brain. It would have been that tour. So I saw you on Reality, and then I saw you on that next tour, and
Oh.
it was chaos. It was insane. It was
Uh,
insane. It really was scary.
yeah. Oh
Scary.
my God. Yeah, it probably was. Oh,
I
give a
mean, you
monkey a
started doing some of the
brain. That's
tunes, you were playing and playing, and then you went in. There was that almost like that free jazz track on "Give Me a Brain." Which one was that?
drunk schizo.
Schizo. Yeah, yeah, that one. And you went
We've
into
been
that, and
playing. We've been playing drunk schizo this last tour. We did that. We did drunk schizo, man. That's a
you stayed
crazy
when
one
you
right
got
there.
into it. You stayed there for a
Yeah.
long time.
Uh,
I
well, you
won't
know
ever
what?
forget it.
I'm glad I'm able to still be able to play and do Fishbone and be able to experience all that stuff again, man, and hopefully inspire other people to do it too, you know?
Oh, see,
You
well, you
know?
have, and you will do. And I'm so happy to have done this interview with you. And I hope you get a whole
Yeah.
ton of traffic over from my lot because they're a good
Right
lot. They
on.
know their music. They know their music. I said to my patrons, I said, look who I'm interviewing, and they were like, oh my God, So they know.
Right.
So hopefully,
Right.
but don't be shy. Go and say hello. Go and message. Just get in touch because this is so
Yeah.
important. We all stick
Yeah.
together. We all got to stick
Yeah.
together.
That's right. That's right, goddamn it. Fuck it, or else we'll be fucked.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Angela. Would you like to say goodbye to? It's all you always have to wave goodbye like this to the audience
Okay,
and say bye
Sally.
bye everybody.
Okay, Johnny. Okay, Mildred. Okay, Vladimir. I'll
And
see you on the other side of the rainbow.